Weren't able to hear it. Barbara Starr reported that the captain was in imminent danger and there was a dramatic shootout at sea, which corrected earlier information that the captain, in fact, had jumped overboard with this rescue. We'd also learned that the wounded pirate is, in fact, the one that was on the USS Bainbridge and had given himself up. When you heard that, what was your insight?
Well, what we're learning about this is obviously still evolving, but there's a possibility that what they did with the ship the other day, yesterday, with the boat approaching a lifeboat, was a bit of a probe. They were looking to test the pirates to see what sort of tactics they might employ if they could see something coming. The entire process, again, has been a combination of the negotiators gathering information about how the pirates are acting on board, and the people that are the tactical elements there preparing for responses. So it's difficult to say exactly how this went down. Obviously, we're still learning.
Of course.
But it's still a combination of negotiations and tactics, and preparing for high risk levels and being able to move if the risk levels do grow high.
Now, this is now under the FBI, and the ship itself is considered a crime scene.
Yes, the ship's a crime scene. They should be able to finish processing what they need from the ship and also the statements from the crew on the ship in relatively short order. But maintaining the integrity of that for the time being is still critical if they prosecute this even in an American court.
Maintaining the integrity of the vessel and also, of course, the cargo that was on board. The cargo was humanitarian aid that was bound for refugees. Tell us a little bit more about what exactly takes place from the moment that it pulled into port in Mombasa until the crew members are able to go home to their family and friends.
Well, they'll need to make sure that they give the crew members enough time to relax and be able to give them clear-headed statements. They'll need to let them rest a little bit, and so that they can recall as much as they possibly can. They'll probably interview them several times. Each interview could take a couple of hours, but they'll give them rest and they'll give them a chance to give them clear-headed responses and best recollection. They'll gather whatever minimal evidence that they need in order to establish that the pirates were on board, whatever evidence is there, and then they'll be able to let both the ship and the crew members go.
Chris Voss is a former FBI negotiator, CEO of Black Swan Group. I also want to bring General Mark Kimmitt back into the conversation. He is a former Assistant Secretary of State under the Bush administration. General Kimmitt, thanks again for spending your Sunday afternoon with us.
Sure. Glad to be here.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about Somalia, the pirates from Somalia. And we know there are still more than 200 men and women being held hostage there.
Well, that's correct. As was said earlier, this is a business that has been going on for a number of years now, ever since Somalia fell into anarchy, but it's a pretty well-organized business.
We have anarchy and yet a well-organized business of crime. Why is it that the pirates are able to pull off these operations so successfully when they approach this gigantic vessel in a very small boat?
Well, first of all, let's put this in perspective.
Okay,
There are
please.
about